All right, turning now to the tech earnings dominating this week's stories. The advertiser pullback continues, creating a mixed picture for tech companies. Google seeing its ad revenue dip even as it beat expectations. Meanwhile, Meta, one of the few bright spots in the industry, seeing growth in its advertising due to reopening in China. And even Amazon, out with earnings yesterday, starting to emerge as a company to watch in the ad space. Joining us now with more is Yahoo Finance's Dan Howley. So break down this difference that we've seen with these different tech firms.
Yeah, well, let's start with Alphabet and Google right off the bat. Their advertising revenue went from 54.6 billion to 54.5 billion in this quarter. That's from Q1 2022, by the way. That difference really shows that they still aren't on a path to recovering in this kind of ad market environment. Look at YouTube ads as well. That was also down slightly from 6.86 billion in 2022 to 6.69 billion last quarter. So obviously they still continue to struggle. On the flip side, we have Meta, Facebook parent company Meta. They seem to be righting the ship after 3 consecutive quarters of revenue declines. They've turned that around and they are doing better in the advertising space. We also have, as you mentioned, Amazon, which has continued to push itself deeper and deeper into advertising. They saw revenues increase this year. It jumped, I believe, 21% year over year. If you adjust for FX, though, or if you exclude for FX, though, excuse me, they had dropped from, let's see, they had 25% growth year over year in Q1 2022 down to 23% this year, though they had that 21%, which was actually up from 19% when you do factor in FX. So obviously they're doing well in that space. And then, we just look at the likes of Snap and Pinterest. Snap is just a story that, I mean, woof, that has not been great. I was following the earnings yesterday. You just saw the stock price get slammed after they announced their poor performance. And, we look at Pinterest and they announced a deal with Amazon, basically saying, look, we're going to let Amazon run ads on our platform for different goods. People will then be able to click into those ads and purchase them directly through Amazon in one click, since most people who are likely using Pinterest are also Amazon users, and they can just get their account set up right away. So the advertising space really does continue to remain challenged, but there are some winners, quote unquote, at this point, and it appears that Meta really is the one that's seeming to pull away. There's a lot of talk about how they've really kind of optimized with AI. That was something that Mark Zuckerberg has talked about. I mean, you could basically throw AI in any conversation at this point, and investors are going to go nuts because, I mean, it's basically the hot topic at this point.
And you mentioned that Pinterest deal with Amazon there. Talk us through how that works. Because I know sometimes when you go on Pinterest, it's a bit haphazard. You almost have to fight to spend your money when you click through some of the tabs there.
Yeah, they've been trying to really kind of change the way that they operate, or at least the way that consumers look at it. With rivals like TikTok and Instagram moving more towards Reels, it's, a photo board really isn't the hot thing that people want. So they've been going more towards videos, more towards creators, getting people more interested or trying to get more people interested into the platform. And so with this Amazon deal, what'll essentially happen is if you're perusing Pinterest, you see something you like and it happens to be an Amazon ad, you can click into it and then you'll just be taken directly to Amazon to purchase it. So it'll make the experience a lot easier for consumers. And, this means that Amazon is going to get a cut of those sales, and ideally Pinterest will as well. They don't really give full terms of the agreement in the announcement, but you can imagine that, they're both going to benefit in some way. And I think this is something that is obviously beneficial to Amazon because they're getting the sales done, but also because, their advertising platform just continues to grow. I said, obviously there's been some decline in growth, but still growth. And that really just goes to show that the strength of appearing on their top spot when it comes to products, video ads, anything along those lines. Amazon just continues to grow. And this was a footnote a few years ago. And just as they've built this out, it continues to be a more important part of the equation for them. It's not going to become, the sole purpose for Amazon. AWS and actual retail sales are going to continue to dominate. But where you see them struggling when it comes to retail, they do have this kind of third leg to kind of stand on. Again, it's not nearly as big as that, but it is something that's growing and could help them kind of even their business out when they go through times like this.
Indeed, especially as, trying to meet consumers where they are. And, they are on Pinterest. Pinterest, though, having trouble monetizing what they're seeing with their popularity with consumers. But a big thank you there for breaking all of that down for us, Dan Howley.